back and forth like that. And a couple times I got on the inside there on the front stretch, and
Shut up.
I could have pushed it a little wider, but
as Jonathan Hernandez comes out and takes the lead. Oh, we got lots of stuff going on here. Oh my god, there is death everywhere. Everyone got tight and have just gone up and slammed the wall. Boomerang shoes in that one, Jordan Lee. A lot of people just getting very tight there on the corner exit. It'd be almost easier to tell you who was not involved. I can see Jonathan Hernandez still on track, Clayton Ward, Ryan Pizzakemi, and Cosman. I'm going to have to talk to Cosman about how to pronounce his last name there. Because I have no idea how to pronounce that. That's the driver of the 48 car, who I believe is just coming to... Oh! He's just punted himself into the end of... I'm here going into turn 1. So he's got the 25 of Brandon Miller behind him, who just went through him a little bit. Sam does... Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Homestead-Miami Speedway, and welcome to the Gladiator 150 right here on the Aussie Sim Commentator channel. And for some reason we don't have sound. Yay! So I'm just gonna quickly put up a little bit of a splash stuff. You guys get to see the behind the scenes. Sound. It was just working absolutely fine before, and now it's decided that it wants to play silly buggers with us. There we go. I was going to put up a splash stream, but I'm too lazy for that right now. This has been a struggle to get this broadcast going. But anyway, welcome to the Aussie Sim Commentator channel. I am your commentator, the Aussie Sim Commentator, and for the first time in a long time, we are doing a live commentary over the replay. So the voice that you're hearing right now is, in fact, what I'm saying right now. It looks like we're going to have 21 people registered for this race altogether. We currently have 19 times on the track. And we're currently being led away by TJ Crampton. Got Robbie DeVore currently P2, Paul Cox third, Kyle Kraus in fourth, with Matt Burgess in fifth in practice. Looks like everyone is in the pit lane, just getting geared up here for a pit party. And this is not the greatest of camera angles to demonstrate that. There we go. Everyone just in the pits there. And we've got some of them starting to file out onto the track now. So by the looks of things, we do have a couple of noticeable absentees. Corey Steinhauser's not there. Also do not see the 33 of Matt Horton. Everyone's on the back straight just trying to find a nice little piece of real estate. I think we're also missing the 9 of Joe Slammer. He is currently registered, but I think he's having some difficulties. But he is the 14th time. Oh, as Jaron Sanchez spins off to the pit lane. And we're off and racing for the pit party. Got a 3-wide start there in the pack. TJ Crampton up in the middle of, I think that was Hernandez and Frank. Oh, they're already crashing in the background. The Homestead-Miami, a very uniquely shaped track. In fact, it's styled after the old Atlanta Motor Speedway, before Atlanta became the cookie cutter mile and a half. One of the only mile and a half tracks that is a true oval, not a tri-oval like we've become accustomed to seeing. There's so many shenanigans and death just there alone. Brennan Bennett, Sanchez was in it. Oh, Hernandez has gone for a spin off turn 2. These cars are very loose around here. The very Las Vegas kind of feel, where it can be tight in and then loose from center off. So the 8, Brian Harris just sitting there on the inside of turn 3. There is 2 ways to come to the pit lane. You can either take the NASCAR entry, which is what these guys do, which is coming just off of turn 4. Or if you want to take it the long and skillful way, then there's actually an access road for turn 3, which is the way that the Indy cars usually come into the pits. The way that the track is set up here for us tonight is for the former, where you just come in off turn 4. And that's Brian Chambliss smashing the inside fence there. Probably DeVore out on track. I think we're getting ready for another pit party here. Cole Woods in the 22. There is Joe Slama in the 9. Things are looking stable for him at the moment. Hopefully we don't lose him into another dimension like we did at Phoenix. Oh. And I think we just lost him to another dimension. Oh, I spoke too soon and Joe Slama just disappeared. Alright, here we go, coming off the turn 4. Like we've got Cole Woods on the pole. On his outside is the 1 Matt Burgess. See Thomas Harmon up there starting 3rd. Looking at taking advantage already. He's done a lot of practice around here. He's even had a couple of league races around here. Just behind Thomas is the 78 of Brian Pizzicami. Kyle Krause up in the top of a mount. There's John Rizal up there as well. 39 was loose. It's James Watson. We could call him Beyblade or James Wattspin. Speaking of the Beyblade, there is the 8 of Brian Harris. Had a good result last week, and he's hoping for another good result here this week, but spreading in practice is not the way to do that. There's the 21 of Brian Chambliss. Oh, and big spin out there for 38 Thomas Harmon. Managed to just tap the wall and keep going, but he might have to go into concussion protocol with the way that these cars are, and any rear or frontal impact. A little bit of push and shove there between Hernandez and Crampton. Actually, a pretty good save by Hernandez there. Looked like he was fishtailing it for a little bit. We also had the return of league owner and operator Jaron Sanchez this week. Currently down 19th. He just built himself a rig. So that's the reason why he's back. He hated racing on a desk. Although I would argue that so far, from what I've seen, he had better results on his desk than he does in his new rig. Maybe he should go back to desk racing. Oh, Robbie DeVore, huge inside wall impact. And back up in track in front of Thomas Harmon, nowhere to go. And yeah, that's definitely going to be concussion protocol right there. And we have shenanigans on the front straight. for Corey Cook, Jonathan Hernandez in that one. Corey Williamson. Possibly Brandon Bennett as well. See Carl Kraus practicing pit entry. It's a very difficult pit entry, honestly. I mean, it's not as difficult as taking the IndyCar pit entry where you got to take the access road. But there is a lot in the pit entry here that can be gained and lost. Even though it seems pretty simple. It's very easy to lock up a wheel and miss the pit entry altogether. Or speed into the pit entry. Everyone has to be on their game when it comes to getting into these pits. We now only have 13 minutes left in practice. I just had to check for a second because I didn't think we were actually online there. And for a minute it looked like we weren't actually live. I just had to double check it. No, we are most definitely live. Sad things for the moment. Kind of calm down here a little bit as far as practice is concerned. We've got just a few people out there in space all on their own. The order is still currently TJ Crampton leading the way. Brian Pizzakemi, Paul Cox, Thomas Harmon, Kyle Kraus. We have Matt Burgess, Jonathan Hernandez, Robbie DeVore, Christian Poe, Brian Chambliss as your top 10. I got Frank Isaacson 11th, John Lizelle 12th. Joe Slama 13th, but we still haven't been able to retrieve him from the new ultimate dimension he's fallen into. I've got James Watson 14th, Corey Cook 15th, Mark Pensacough, Cole Woods, Corey Williamson, Jaron Sanchez, Brian Harris as your top 20, and Brandon Bennett in 21st. There's Goldwoods in the 22. Currently 18th. And with 9 minutes left in practice here, I'm not expecting too much more to change as far as the order is concerned. Might see one or two people move around a little bit. I think for the most part, people are kind of set in there. The fast time is a 32.765 from TJ Crampton. And speaking of TJ Crampton, there he is crashing off a turn 4. There's Robbie DeVore and Cole Woods, both of them running the Highline here. I don't think the Highline is really going to be a place to be. Maybe to make an overtake here and there, but yeah, I don't think that's going to be good or beneficial in the long run. Not even really in the short run. But if that's where they want to be, then so be it. Oh, around goes Cole Woods. We have about 9 laps left in practice, or about 6 minutes and 10 seconds. Whichever tickles your fancy the most. Oh, and TJ Crampton had a wiggle right in front of Jaron Sanchez, almost went around. Actually a nicely held drift there for the driver of the 61. He's going to practice a pit entry. I think Sanchez joined him on that. There's 2 of Chris Champeau, currently P9, and currently behind the 5 of Mark Pentacuff. There is the 3 of Paul Cox behind the 60 of Kyle Kraus. Oh, one thing that I haven't mentioned this whole time, this is the first race in the chase for the championship. I would have the points handy, but currently my computer has been a bit weird. And I don't want to do anything to upset the delicate balance I have going right now for this broadcast. Ooh, drifting there for Paul Cox. have just 3.5 minutes now left. About 5 minutes, or 5 laps left, sorry. And with these guys doing about 33 seconds per lap. Should be over pretty quickly, honestly. Cole Woods trying to make the outside work on the two of Chris Champeau. Chris Champeau's on 14 lap old tyres, Cole Woods on 3 lap old tyres. If he can't make this move work and very quickly, then something is horribly wrong there for Cole Woods. There you go. It's as if he heard me speaking. Although we all know that is an impossibility. Oh, there's the 8 of Brian Harris getting into the fence, and the 24 of Frank Isaacson going for a slide along the straightaway. Robbie DeVos popped himself up into P2. The current top 5 here at the end of practice. TJ Crampton, Robbie DeVore, Brian Pizzicami, Paul Cox, and Thomas Harmon. Judging by that time of TJ Crampton and in relation to everyone else, there might be a little bit of cheese in that time, if you get what I mean. But we are less than a minute away from the end of practice here. So we are going to be going for a commercial break while these drivers go out and tackle qualifying. Make sure you guys stay tuned. More action from the Gladiator 150 here in the first race for the chase of the championship coming up shortly. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Welcome back to the Homestead-Miami Speedway. Welcome back to the Gladiator 150 here on the Aussie Sim Commentator channel. Qualifying is complete, and as you can see, our front row there, the 38 of Thomas Harmon, the 21 of Brian Chambliss. Row 2, going to be the 3 of Paul Cox and the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez. And out of 5th, we're going to have the 60 of Kyle Kraus on his outside, the 61 of TJ Crampton. In P7, going to be the 2 of Chris Champeau and the 12 of Matt Burgess. P9 will be the 39 of James Watson. P10, the 23 of John Lozelle. We're going to have Frank Isaacson, Brian Harris, Mark Pentecoff, Corey Cook. Joe Slama is scheduled to start in 15th with the 4 of Jaron Sanchez in P16. We've got Brian Piskemi 17, Brandon Bennett 18, Cole Woods in 19, and Robbie DeVore in 20th, with the 21st position being for the 81 of Corey Williamson. The cars start making their way out onto the track. Just the one pace car, and then we'll let them loose and send them sideways, as this is going to be a very loosey-goosey kind of a race. All going to be about keeping that rear end under your car and not overstepping the mark. Here we go as they come through turns 3 and 4, and we will let them loose around the Homestead-Miami Speedway. Here we go. The pace car makes a hard left turn into the pit lane, and the first start is on green. All the restarts are on the leader in the restart zone. We are racing for the Gladiator 150 around the Homestead-Miami Speedway, and already the side-by-side battle for the lead is heating up, as Thomas Harmon was looking to get a huge launch away from Brian Chambliss, and that was not the case, as they're still side-by-side going along the back straight. But Jonathan Hernandez actually giving a little bit of a bump draft to the 21 of Brian Chambliss that time. Now Chambliss all the way up to the top of the track, and he's going to lose out on second. But the leader of the first lap will be the 38 of Thomas Harmon. And Jonathan Hernandez just slots himself sneakily into the second position. Oh, and there's one in the fence in the background. There's the 8 of Brian Harris. He's managed to keep it away from everyone, but there is definitely a lot of damage to that 8 car. We'll go back into the pack now, and it looks like there is a little bit of a race for the lead going on between Hernandez and Harmon, as they go into battle hammer and tongs. Actually, looks like Hernandez trying to play a smart game here. He gets a nice run off the exit of 4. Will go for the move on the inside of turn 1. Not quite this time. Oh, but there it goes. Thomas Harmon slides up the track, opens up the door for Hernandez, and Hernandez now takes the lead coming out of turn 2. Now what can Hernandez do as he's at the helm of this race? Also got a side-by-side battle between the 2 Speedway Motorsports drivers in the field. 61 of TJ Crampton and the 3 of Paul Cox. And it looks like Cox starting to lose out on a few positions here. as he's now side by side with Matt Burgess. And it looks like the two of Chris Champeau are going to give Cox a bit of a push here on the back straight. And that's allowed him to maintain position in front of Matt Burgess. But Chris Champeau actually used that for his advantage. And he just about overtook Burgess for the 6th position. But at the line, Champeau was in 6th. Paul Cox had a little bit of a wiggle. It wasn't much of a wiggle, it was just a little wiggle. Side by side goes TJ Crampton and Brian Chambliss. Chambliss falling back a little bit here. Chris Champeau looking to make the move stick as well. And Paul Cox on the inside of Matt Burgess. Chris Champeau has now moved his way up into 4th. Brian Chambliss demoted down to 5th. Matt Burgess maintains position over Paul Cox. Stays in P6. I'm just hearing from an inside source that Thomas Harmon actually clipped the apron, which is what sent him up the track. So that it's been an important lesson for everyone out there. Apron bad. Looks like Paul Cox is now under siege from John Lozelle in a 23 car. As Lozelle's trying to slide his way up into P7, and he's going to do so. Oh, in the background song getting very loose there. I think that is the 4 of Jaron Sanchez, league owner and operator. Not like him to make a mistake like that. Although that is probably because he is on a rig and not playing on a desk. That'd be my best guess anyway. But the entire field's strung out here now. Single file is the call. I reckon that's more out of preservation than anything else. You step out of line, you start pushing too hard, and you are going to go around. Or at the very least, you're going to get very, very sideways. Saying that, that's not going to stop some of these guys from trying to battle. Matt Burgess has John Lozelle all over his tail. And I think we had a race for the lead there as well. We do. Harmon up on the inside of Hernandez as they hammer their way through turn 2. And Hernandez not getting a great exit there. Slides in behind Thomas Harmon. And Harmon has resumed hostilities at the front of the field. two of Chris Champeau, looking to move himself up into second, as he wants to try and disrupt the double H pattern at the front of the field. It doesn't look like he's going to be able to manage to do it this time. Paul Cox and James Watson, they're battling in the background. We'll set the camera to focus on crashes for the moment, just to see if we can see what we can see. Looks like everyone's running about a second slower than their best laps right now. On 16 laps, you lose about a second of time through tyre wear. As the battle is on now for the 12 of Matt Burgess, he's getting overtaken by the 23 of John Lozelle. It looked like for a second Chris Champeau was going to be under threat from the 61 of TJ Crampton, and nothing was really doing there. Still by side for the 12 and the 23. Sanchez getting loose once more. At least I think that's Sharon Sanchez. Either that or it was Paul Cox. Actually, that's Paul Cox. Sanchez is further back. Oh, a little bit of rubbing there. When the 60 Carl Kraus, 23 John Lozelle. That was almost disastrous. See what Carl can do around the outside of Lozelle this time. And he's going to make the move stick. Very nicely done. Carl Kraus now moves his way up into 7th. Looks like Kyle Kraus is on a little bit of a charge here as he gets up on the inside of Chris Champeau as well, promoting himself up into P6. Promoting Chris Champeau down to 7th. I think that was the 3 of Paul Cox going very slowly along the front straight. Looks like he's back up to speed now, possibly. Yep, back up to speed. I think he might have just gotten loose coming out of turn 4, just about clouded the inside wall. Well, as Frank Isaacson has gone around. I saw him get loose out the corner of my eye. I thought, no, don't tell me it's so. Here he comes, getting loose, coming out of turn 4. And then it just kicks to the right. Oh, Robbie DeVore kicks to the left. You can tell DeVore is off the gas there. and just the slightest little contact with the wall and Frank Isaacson, and that has put Frank around. And Frank is definitely going to need some new tires and possibly some new underwears as well. And that has brought out the first caution of the day. So with that, we are going to go to a commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to see the results of any pit stops that will most likely happen. So make sure you guys stay tuned. More action from the Gladiator 150 here from the Homestead-Miami Speedway coming up shortly. Welcome back to the Homestead-Miami Speedway, the Gladiator 150 here on the Aussie Sim Commentator channel for the Output Racing League. And Thomas Harmon went into the pits in first and come out of the pits in first. And he is followed by Jonathan Hernandez, TJ Crampton, Brian Chambliss, Kyle Kraus, Brian Pizzicami, John Lozelle, Chris Champeau, Matt Burgess, and James Watson as your top 10. Brian Harris is on the track. He's 18 laps down in 20th. The only car a lap down. So 11th to 19th is going to be Corey Cook, Corey Williamson, Jaron Sanchez, Cole Woods, Mark Penskoff, Brandon Bennett, Frank Isaacson, Robbie DeVore, and Paul Cox. As Paul Cox just comes out of the pits. And we are on 1 to green as Brian Harris has received the wave around. Brian Harris is experimenting with alternate dimensions as well, and disappearing as he was trying to disappear off into the distance. So here we go. Going to be 26 laps down. Means we're going to have just 74 laps to go when we get the green flag. And if we stay green, that could go very, very quickly. But one thing we are going to do, when we get down into the restart zone and get these guys ready to send them, is we are going to have a good old-fashioned crank it up. So, here we go. Let's crank it up. Alrighty, we are back. I'm trying to get our volume levels back down to normal. And you can see Thomas Harmon was still leading the way. We've got a side-by-side battle here between the 12 of Matt Burgess and the 60 of Kyle Kraus. These guys are arguing over the 8th position. Just ahead of them, you can see Chris Champeau just stepped out of the line trying to get around John Lozelle. That is for 6. I'm not sure, but I think we had a battle even further up ahead. We got a loose one here in the front, straight towards the back of the field. That's just Brian Harris by the looks of things. Got a couple of battles, just a little bit of everywhere. Chris Champeau trying to get one on Brian Chambliss. And it looks like he's made that stick into turn 3. We've also got league owner and operator Jaron Sanchez up into the 12th position right now. Also got the 6 of Robbie DeVore trying to run the Larson line up around the top of the track. There's a side-by-side battle as the 62 of Corey Cook starting to lose a little bit of ground here towards the back of the top 10 as Brandon Bennett tries to get up on his inside. And Corey Williamson already gotten around him. Jaron Sanchez fancies himself a go as well. And Jonathan Hernandez fancies himself as the leader as he gets around Brian Pizzicami as Thomas Harmon's actually dropped back to 3rd. Did not expect that one. There's Jonathan Hernandez leading away from Brian Pizzicami and Thomas Harmon in 3rd. That's what I get for not paying attention to the front of the pack. As Brian Pizzicami is now going to try and go for the lead here on the inside of Jonathan Hernandez. Hernandez trying to get all the momentum he can from that Larson line around the top. Even attempted to side draft off Brian there a little bit on the straightaway. Brian just staying stoic on the bottom line. And he's going to move up and he's officially going to be leading the race now. It looks like TJ Crampton even looking to try and make a move on Thomas Harmon here. And he does, slipping his way up into 3rd. Just like that, Thomas Harmon is off the podium. Now, this could definitely be strategy from Thomas Harmon. Not expecting a caution to come out. Could be trying to save his tyres for a longer run. See, most of the entire field is all stretched out here. There's 61 TJ Crandon in third. Let's set the camera to focus on crashes, see where we end up. And we've got a side-by-side battle between Chris Champeau and John Lozelle. They're battling over the 5th position. Chris Champeau wants it. John Lozelle does not want to get him through. But it looks like Chris Champeau is going to take the advantage so far. And he does so. Stamping it with his authority. John Lozelle is going to try and run that slightly higher line. Get that little bit of extra momentum over Chris Champeau. Here comes John Lozelle now fighting back. He pulls at the inside of Chris this time in turns 3 and 4. And if they were any closer coming off the corner, they would have been touching. I'm pretty sure Chris Champeau still had the advantage at the line that time. So John Lozelle is going to have to put in the work to try and make this move work. Oh, and it looks like he got a little bit sideways coming off of turn 2, so that's going to ruin his run there. And Chris Champeau will maintain his top 5 as Thomas Harmon moves his way back up into third. Now Brian Chambliss looking to make a move on John Lozelle. And it looks like the 12 of Matt Burgess was going to look at taking advantage and following. Does so this time. The inside of John Lozelle he goes. Lozelle getting a little bit of extra momentum over him coming through turn 4. Oh, and in the background there, that was very sideways. Cole Woods. We missed it entirely, but he has saved the car somehow, some way. Is there any damage on his 22 car? Not that I can see. And that is good for Cole. He's able to keep going. It looks like we have lost Brian Harris. We've got Joe Slama, who did not start the race, as we lost him in alternate dimension in practice. And Brian Harris, who has decided to pull the pin, because he did not want to get lost in an alternate dimension. We've actually got Cole Woods coming into the pits. I think that's to get a new set of tyres after his lose coming out of turn 4. As now the multi-groove nature of this track starting to come to the forefront. Got more people experimenting with the middle and the outside lanes. I think Cole Woods has actually pulled the pin as well, and he is also OUT out. So not even halfway through. We're now 45 laps complete in this race. And we have 3 DNFs, leaving just 18 cars left circulating on the track. And surprisingly, all of them are on the lead lap. That's a nice little stat. For the 5 of Mark Pentacuff, who is actually been able to stay on the lead lap here. We're just about at the halfway mark. Just a couple more laps to go and we will be halfway through this race. We'll be 75 miles down, 75 miles to go. But not quite yet. Still a couple laps away from that yet. Yeah, everyone's just kind of strung out here now. Everyone's just trying to conserve their tyres a little bit. Although I do see the 21 of Brian Chambliss has just pulled out of line to try and make a move on Chris Champeau. And he's definitely not close enough to get that done. Oh, and Chris Champeau's gotten loose coming out of turn 4 actually. He's managed to save it. But he has just lost a boatload of positions because of it. And how's Frank Isaacson, as he is hashtag not last, actually moved his way up to 15th in front of Pentecoff, Cox and Sanchez. And yes, that is league owner and operator Sanchez. In fact, Chris Champeau didn't lose out too many positions there. He's still in the top 10. Just down in 8th. As we come out of turn 4 this time, we're going to be halfway. 75 laps down. Sorry, 50 laps down, 50 to go. 75 miles down, 75 miles to go. And everyone, as I said, is on the lead lap, which is amazing. But one thing that these guys will have to start thinking about soon is if we don't get another caution, you're going to have to start thinking about a green flag pit stop. Because then the question becomes, when would be the best time to do it? You come in early, get the fresher tyre advantage sooner. Come in later for the late run fresher tyre advantage. What do you do with your fuel? You take 2 and hope that there's a caution soon. Now these are all questions these guys are probably going to answer very shortly. Because I'm not sure. I don't think they can make it to the end on their current fuel loads. There's Jonathan Hernandez. Still currently 3rd, but he's going to be under pressure here from Brian Chambliss in the 21. Thomas Harmon. We haven't checked in on him in a while, but he has made his way back into the lead. Brian Pizzakemi, gotten big time loose off turn 4, has fallen all the way back to 7th. Right, Jonathan Hernandez starting to fall back now too, as he slots in behind Brian Chambliss. 60 of Kyle Kraus trying to make a move on Matt Burgess. And it looks like he's going to make that move stick coming up to turn 4. We'll have to see how the drag race results. And at the line, it was definitely Kyle Kraus over Matt Burgess. And it looks like coming out of turn 2 is going to be much the same thing, as Kraus has cleared Burgess. Burgess pulls in behind Kraus, trying to get a bit of draft going. It doesn't look like he's going to be able to do it as Kraus starts slipping up the track a little bit. So Burgess pressuring Kyle into a little mistake there. compromise Carl's line on entry. So he would slip up a little bit higher in turn 4. Yeah, still everyone just single filed out here. So Brandon Bennett is a lap down in 18th. John Lozelle is up there battling for a top spot. Is OUT out of this race? So Brandon Bennett has pitted. John Lozelle, I think, pitted as well, but something must have happened to him, and he's decided to pull the pin. So now we have 4 DNFs, 17 cars on track. Brandon Bennett's hoping with these fresh tyres he can make some moves here on some of the lap traffic before they come in for their pit stops. There's a 60 Kyle Kraus. We have no more takers for the pits just yet. With Matt Burgess now getting around Jonathan Hernandez. That's for 5th. Oh, big sideways for Hernandez. Oh, James. How did James miss him? And how is that not a caution? Everyone able to continue on somehow without making any contact with Jonathan Hernandez there. That was really close. Could have been a disaster. And Jonathan Hernandez fell all the way back to 13th because of it. Top 10 as it stands right now, as no one else has come into the pits just yet. Thomas Harmon, TJ Crampton, Brian Chambliss, Kyle Kraus, Matt Burgess, Chris Champo, Brian Pizzakemi, Paul Cox, Corey Cook, and James Watson. What we're going to do is, while we have this moment before these guys think about doing some more green flag stops, is we are going to go to a quick commercial break, so make sure you guys stay tuned. More action from the Gladiator 150 here on the Aussie Sim Commentator channel is coming up shortly. Welcome back to the Aussie Sim Commentator channel for the Gladiator 150 right here for the Output Racing League. The first race of the playoffs for Season 2 2022. And Thomas Harmon still leading the way and by a very comfortable 1 second margin over TJ Crampton. As we are actually waiting on green flag stops to happen here shortly as Jaron Sanchez pulls to the inside of the apron on the back straight there. Not sure whether he's pitting or whether he actually has an issue. Guess we will find out shortly. As we are waiting on green flag stops, I think Corey Cook has just come into the pit lane. So too has the forward Jaron Sanchez. See how they end up. There's the 3 Paul Cox. Chris Champeau now goes into the pits. Corey Cook is about to come out. It's all about where Corey Cook will come out in relation to Brandon Bennett. I think Bennett is well and truly ahead of him. In fact, Bennett has half a lap on Corey Cook there. And that's the advantage of fresher tyres sooner. But that could also be to his detriment. There's one thing you gotta remember is, yeah, the fresh tyres earlier, good in theory, because you know, you get to drive your way through the field and then just try and maintain. The Piper Mark Benchcup is in the pits. And someone else just coming into the pits there too, the 78 of Brian Pizzicami. But the trade-off to that is you're going to have worse tyres later on in the race. So we'll have to see how this strategy is going to work out for Brandon Bennett, who is back on the lead lap. And he is going to get around Pizzicami. And the 88 Jonathan Hernandez, who is in the pits. In fact, 60 Kyle Krass just come into the pits as well. Still looking at Paul Cox and James Watson. Frank Isaacson is in the pits. Again, Brandon Bennett. He's worked the strategy really well to begin with. Here comes Paul Cox coming into the pits. Thomas Harmon still leading the way. He has not pitted yet. Matt Burgess is in with Paul Cox. And Brandon Bennett currently in P8. He's the last car on the lead lap officially. We're looking at Corey Cook. He's down in 11th. Right now, technically speaking, the first car 1 lap down, so 2 of Chris Champeau. We're waiting on everyone to come into the pit lane. James Watson in 4th. Now Brandon Bennett is theoretically P6. We have just 5 cars left to pit. So we have Harmon, Crampton, Chambliss, Watson, and DeVore still yet to pit. And Brandon Bennett already has 19 laps on his tyres. In fact, make that 20 laps this time as he crosses the start-finish line. So to anyone who pits now, like TJ Crampton is out of second, going to have 20 laps over the tyre wear that Brandon Bennett has. So James Watson also came into the pits. And here comes our leader, Thomas Harmon, into the pits now. And that has given the lead to Brian Chambliss, who officially led that lap. Brandon Bennett is currently P4. And has Robbie DeVore pitted yet? No, he has not. It's just Chambliss and DeVore who have not pitted yet. And Chambliss is coming in this time. There's Thomas on the access road. But Thomas has dropped down to 7th. That's how much the fresher tyres have been paying dividends for everyone else around him. Robbie DeVore has just taken the effective race lead. You watch Thomas Harmon here though. He will start moving through the pack on his fresher tyres. Robbie DeVore has officially led a lap. And Brandon Bennett is quaking in his boots a little bit, because he can see in his mirror this little pack here, Christian Poe, Matt Burgess and Kyle Kraus, starting to catch up to him. One advantage Brandon Bennett could have right now is if these guys start battling. It looks like Robbie DeVore coming into the pits this time. It's going to give the lead of the race to Brandon Bennett. Brandon Bennett officially leads the lap. And just like that, all is right with the world again as everyone has pitted. We have 16 cars left on the track as Jaron Sanchez has pulled the pin. League owner and operator. And when we get everyone across the start finish line this time, we'll start getting a proper order for everyone as well. So it's Brandon Bennett in first. And he has the oldest tyres in the field. Compared to the top 5, he has 21 laps older tyres than Thomas Harmon. So it's Brandon Bennett, Matt Burgess, Kyle Kraus, Christian Poe, Thomas Harmon, TJ Crampton. As Matt Burgess has just taken the lead. There's Brandon Bennett. And I think Brandon's pitting again. That's a surprise. Thought he would have stayed out, tried to maintain, but I guess not. So Burgess, Kraus, Champeau, Harmon, Crampton, Fizikami, Cook, Chambliss, Hernandez, Cox, Williamson, Watson, Isaacson, Pentacuff, and Robbie DeVore, who is a lap down after, I'm assuming, getting a penalty. So there you go. Now it's all about trying to make it to the end. We have 19 laps left in this race. In fact, yeah, 19 laps left. And Thomas Harmon is in the top 3 now, as he's just gotten around TJ Crampton and Kyle Kraus to move himself up into second. He's going to try and chase down Matt Burgess, who built up a little bit of a gap between himself and Kyle Kraus. But all that is going to mean nothing, as that's only a second between himself and Thomas Harmon. And Thomas on the much fresher tyres than Matt close that in very quickly. It's 4 laps difference between their tyres. Matt's hoping that Thomas might have burnt them up a little bit too much to catch him. But that gap is absolutely coming down. It's only half a second now. Brian Chandler still has the fastest lap of the race at the moment. As in the background, Chris Champeau getting underneath Robbie DeVore, who is a lap down, but couldn't quite make that move stick. And it looks like for the most part, everything's just settled out here. Everyone's single filed out. No one's really trying anything too much. Thomas already retook the lead from Matt. There's TJ. He's going to be hunting for second here. About half a second between himself and Matt Burgess. Burgess is actually in hard charger position right now. Going from 8th to 2nd. I think he started 8th anyway. I don't know. It's been a long race. I can tell you that much. There's TJ Crampton. And he hasn't actually been able to close this gap to Matt Burgess just yet. Thomas Harmon's starting to catch up to Mark Pentacuff, who is miraculously actually on the lead lap at the moment. But that probably won't last for too much longer. As it looks like Brandon Bennett's letting the leading traffic through. He's back on track and a lap down in 16th. And Mark has been put a lap down himself. As they come towards the start finish line this time, There's going to be just 11 laps left in this race. TJ Crampton all over the tail of Matt Burgess now. Alright, here we go. The move being made by TJ. Going to be TJ up 4 positions from where he started. Burgess is probably under threat of losing hard charger here. See, my memory's not so great. I can't remember back to the start of this race where everyone started. Looks like Matt Burgess is going to have his work cut out for him here. But Robbie DeVore running the extreme high line there. We now have just 9 laps left in this race. I don't think anyone's going to be able to catch Thomas Harmon. He's got a 2-second lead over TJ Crampton right now. TJ is just trying to pick off the traffic one by one. Let's see what everyone's up to. Got Thomas Harmon out in the lead by a long way. P2 we have the 61. Oh, TJ Crampton. He's trying to get around Robbie DeVore, who is a lap down. Behind TJ we have the 12 of Matt Burgess. Matt's just trying to chase back down TJ Crampton and try and hold off the 60 of Kyle Kraus, who is in P4. Behind Kyle by a few tenths is going to be the 21 of Brian Chambliss, who is deep in battle with Mark Pentecoff. Mark Pentecoff obviously a lap down, so there's no real battle there. We have the 2 of Chris Champeau, who actually has the 78 of Brian Pentecoff right on his tail. These two are for position, 6th and 7th. Coming up behind these guys is going to be the 6 of Paul Cox. No, 3 of Paul Cox. No, it was one of them. There you go, 3 of Paul Cox. He's in 8th. And just behind him, the 39 of James Watson in 9th. And P10 is going to be the 62 of the Cookie Monster himself, Corey Cook. Jonathan Hernandez has fallen all the way down to the 11th position. Definitely not doing him any good. Now you got Corey Williamson in 12th. And Frank Isaacson just behind him in 13th. The last car on the lead lap. He has 10 seconds between himself and Thomas Harmon on track. But with just 5 to go, it's going to be hard for Thomas Harmon to A, catch and pass Frank Isaacson to put him a lap down, but B, have anyone catch up to Thomas Harmon. Thomas played the tyre strategy game perfectly as the only person with fresher tyres in the top 5. 21 of Brian Chambliss, but he's stuck in 4th. In fact, in saying that, Chambliss just recently got around Kyle Kraus. There's a little factoid that I was forgetting. And now Chambliss chasing after Burgess. As we come around turn 4, we're going to have 3 laps left to run in this race. I just had a look at what we got coming up next week. The output racings, we've got now just 2 laps left to run. And I hope these guys have their snow tires ready. Oh, did someone just hit the fence? It's been a change for position. Brian Chambliss has gotten around Matt Burgess. There they are, battling side by side. Burgess trying to desperately hold on to third here. So I'm pretty sure if he stays in third, that's hard charge guaranteed for him. This white flag, last lap, last chance to win it or wear it for the 38 of Thomas Harmon. And Thomas has just been the absolute class act of the field this whole entire race. Even down to the tyre strategy coming to the end of the race here. He's just been absolutely on top of it the whole time. The first race in the chase for the championship. And it is going to go the way of Thomas Harmon, who is coming out of turn 4 for the final time. Here we go. Your winner at Homestead, Thomas Harmon. P2 to TJ Crampton. P3 is Brian Chambliss. P4 Matt Burgess. And P5 Kyle Kraus. So we're just going to do this one real quickly. There's going to be no driver interviews in this one. Your Hard Charger Award winner goes to the 61 of TJ Crampton. Well done, TJ. There we go. The Autism Winners Hard Charger Award winner for TJ Crampton. But it's time now for some victory burnouts for the 38 of Thomas Harmon. So that is going to be all for us here tonight at the Homestead-Miami Speedway. Make sure you guys stay tuned. Coming up next week will be the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. So until then, I've been your commentator, the Aussie Sim commentator. We'll see you guys in New Hampshire.